some fun, save some bucks, make your own with Ball-Ofin.
So let me just give you a preview of what we're going to do. We're going to build this pot holder that's going to allow us to mount the pot. We're going to put the 1/2-inch dowel on the pot's shaft. We're going to take a string and mount it onto the pedal on either side, and it's going to be separated by just a common rubber band. We're going to wrap it around here, and that's going to turn the pot back and forth. And here's the input and output jacks. First thing we have to do is build a pot holder. I have the 3/4 inch wide wood piece here. I'm going to put some glue on here and on the side. I'm going to take the 1/4 inch piece, put it down, put this piece over here, and take the 1/8 inch piece, put a bead of glue here, put this on the side like that, and this is essentially what we have. This is flush, this is flush. When this is all dried, we're going to drill a hole here so that we can mount the pot. The pot holder has dried, and I've drilled some holes. These 2 holes here are for the pot. These 2 holes here are to mount the pot holder onto the base. And I've drilled 2 holes in the base. These holes are going to allow the strings to pass through. Now, when I turn this over, I'm going to mount the pot holder. And I want to mount it so that this curved surface is right at the edge of that hole in the front for the string, and sort of in the center. I've mounted the pot holder with 2 1/2-inch screws, and since this is a 1/4 inch and this is an 1/8 inch, it actually protrudes towards the top, but that's okay because the pedal will be on top here. So now I'm going to mount the potentiometer. You notice it seems a little small compared to most, at least the body does, but the 1/4 inch shaft is the same. I'm going to push this in, and notice the non-rotating tab there. Okay, and that's nice and snug. And I used a 10mm socket, and that worked out very nice. The next thing I'm going to do is take the 1/2-inch dowel with the 1/4 inch hole and put it right on the pot. And notice it spins around, but it'll keep on spinning around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a tiny hole right through the dowel, right through the pot shaft, and out the other end. And there I am all the way through. I found that if I take one of these larger paper clips with a coloring, because it has a little plastic on it, it's just the right size to go through, nice and tight. So I'm going to cut that off and bend the ends over, and here we are. You notice I've bent over the ends, and once it gets there, it does not move. Next, I'm going to mount some 1/4 inch phono jacks in the holes that I drilled very early on in the front. One goes there, and the other one goes there. Okay, so I finished wiring, and just let me walk you through it very quickly. The ground lug of this jack is connected to the ground lug of this jack, and connected to the end lug of the pot. So that's the ground loop. The black wire goes to the hot lug on the output jack, and that goes to the middle lug of the pot, and the hot lug of the input jack goes to the top lug of the pot. When we turn around the pedal, you see that I've drilled 2 pilot holes, one here and one here. And in each one of those pilot holes, I'm going to put a 1/2 inch screw that I'm going to put the string around. Now we're going to need some string to move the pot, and it shouldn't stretch or otherwise be flexible. The best thing I found is mason line. It's inexpensive and it's built to be pulled and tugged. So I'm going to take maybe this much, this, and then half again, and cut it. But the only problem is it tends to open up. Take a regular kitchen match and just burn the ends. The end is nice. Just make sure you let it cool off before you do that. Okay, so we're going to make a knot and then put this on this one right here. Tighten it up. And that's about it. Okay, on the other side, I'm going to do one about one of these. Now we're going to need one more part. We're going to need some rubber bands. We're actually going to need one rubber band. And I want a nice small rubber band. And they come in all different sizes, but to be perfectly honest, even that's too big. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to make a knot, and now we have half the size of the rubber band. So let's put that over here for a second. Let's take our unit, put the longer string through the front. There we go. We put the shorter string through the rear. There we go. And now we're going to put the screws, the hex bolts back in. So I've tied this back so that when I stretch this slightly, it just goes out to here. Now I'm going to turn this all the way to the right and keep this taut and go once, twice, 3 times around and put it through the rubber band on the other side and just sort of hold it and see what happens. As I go, that seems to work well and it doesn't get on there. So I'm going to put a knot right here and let's give it a try. Whoops, seems like it's a little loose here. No worries. Just take it off again and reposition it. 1, 2, and 3. And let's see how it works. Look at that. Turns it all the way around. Everything is good. And we see the operation here. All I need to do is cut these off, and there, and it's all done. I've drilled 4 mounting holes in the bottom, and I've used them to drill pilot holes in the corresponding parts of the base. Now I'm going to put it on, take the screws, run them through, and you might notice I used a 5/32 inch bit to make the holes in the bottom and a 5/64 inch bit to make the pilot holes. And here we go. We have our pedal. The only thing you have to do is put 2 labels here, one for out and one for in.